And Sammy's looking pretty good. I did not get the arms done last night, although I almost did. I did make the hands. And they're already covered and everything. Here we go. Do my Charlie Chaplin. I guess I could do that with feet. Anyway, and I also cut out the arms, which are here, but they're not sewn yet. I made one arm. I finished it up, and it was way too big. It because I'm not accustomed to how much bulk this fur adds to the puppet. He looked like he had like Popeye arms. So I took him off and I removed the piece of tubing that was on there as an elbow because it just didn't look right. So anyway, I made new patterns and I'm going to cover these things right now. Maybe pretty much finish this up. Only thing I'm not going to probably do online is put the tail on because I'm a little concerned that Facebook might tag me for nudity again. But I'll make that and attach it and I should be fine. So anyway. There's one arm. Here's the other arm. I'm going to attach them at the cuffs first. And make sure I do it so that the seam is at the bottom. And away we go. I should have taken pictures of those meaty arms because I only made one of them, but it was quite jarring. And so far, the only pattern that this thing has in common with the older one is I use the same exact hand pattern. So somebody was asking me if I was going to use the old fabric as like a little swatch of it as legacy holdover. And I didn't, but I did use a pattern. And I don't think any other pattern in this entire build shares it with the previous one. I think the hands were the only ones on Ralph as well. All right, let's get started on this. Let's see what the easiest way to do this would be. I like the fur just kind of barely hanging over it, so think about there. I'm almost tempted to take these rods off, but they're kind of a pain to take in and take off. I don't want this video to be about putting arm rods on. Although I might. I think I will. If they remove. Wouldn't that be something? After all that work, they don't actually come out. I gotta repaint them anyway, so. There it goes. Okay. I'll repaint those tonight. I wonder if it would be easier. This one. Yeah, I think so. I think this is the way I did it last night. Pretty uneven, but oh well. Let's see if I have to redo that. That looks actually halfway decent. I think I'm going to do the other one right now, too. Just so they're more or less even. Well, the good news is they both came out. I'm pretty sure I can get it back into. So probably tomorrow we'll be just kind of showing them off, and then maybe work on something new uh, tomorrow as well. I'm going to be building Olaf and a Sven for a production of Frozen. So that'll probably be the subject of my feed for for months now, for like 6 weeks. So I'm sure plenty of people will have opinions on that. I won't know even. I've never built anything like that before. Well, I built stuff kind of like it, but there's a difference between building it for yourself and building it for a client. Where am I forgot? I think they're a little off. It's not a big deal. Drive me crazy. I guess this is pretty dangerous because if it turns out that the first one doesn't work, then I gotta redo all this too. I think it'll work. I'll tell myself that it works. I just want to make sure all this fur is supposed to be. It really only needs to be tacked down here. I don't foresee getting a lot of stress. All the heavy lifting's done by this shoelace. Amazing stitches here. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to stuff them both and hope for the best. It's like those ants. They show stitching up a wound. You don't want to put too much stuffing in here because you want movement, but I also don't want them to look like Grover's arms. Might be a little too much. Okay, there's one arm. I can always fish out the stuffing if it's too much. Oh, hey, Ethan. This is my new evening routine, watching puppet building and eating dinner. Oh, that's good. Hope it's entertaining at least. I'm so close to finishing this thing, I almost stayed up all night and finished these arms. I was like, yeah, but then I'll disappoint Ethan. I almost put beads into this one. I tried it once before, and I wasn't that thrilled with the results, so I kind of just shied away from it. Kind of just made his arms knobby. Okay. I like the way that one moves better. Let's see. All right, so here's one of his arms. They still look kind of big, but oh well, that's good enough. Hey, Dave. Hey, Steve. How's it going? I see you went with a standard hand rather than the other hand pattern. What other hand pattern? The one that I use for all the other Millenpool puppets, or thank you for saying Sammy is turning out great. I'm really happy with him, actually. It wasn't like I went into this not having a plan. It was just, it seemed like a lot of work. And you know how I love to work with fur. But I do think it's a marked improvement over the last one. Of course, I would hope that I got a little bit better building in the last 20 years. I think I rebuilt him in 2006. I'm starting to think about one of the last San Diego Comic-Cons I did. And I think that was 2000. I did 2006, and then I took a year off, and then I did 2008. And I think I rebuilt them all in 2006. Maybe 2005. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? Been sewing all day. I'm just gonna say that. I've been sewing all day. I saw you posted something. I'll be right there. Starting to get out of control. There we go. The original Sammy hand, wasn't it different? I thought you were talking about not knowing which way you were going to go. No, I actually used the original Sammy hand. This is the only pattern that I used from the. Oh, what is this? Oh, interesting. Oh no, I wrote this on here last night. I was just like, how how long do I make that hand? So no, this is the original Sammy hand. Which is basically the same as the Millenpool pattern. It's just cut off about 2 inches in. Get caught on here. How'd that happen? I guess I got it when I threw it down. I caught it in the fur and it got stuck. I'm thinking, on all the old tails that I put on this thing, I always put 2 hairs sticking out the back, which is a holdover from when I first did the character. When I was I guess 11, and I was afraid people would think it was a piece of poop sticking out of the back of his butt. So I put 2 hairs in it, thinking that would keep people from saying that. Nobody ever said anything about it. But so every version after that has had those 2 hairs sticking out. And the puppet does too. But I've always used pipe cleaners to do that. I'm toying with the idea of just using a couple ostrich feathers sticking out on this version. Mainly because I don't have any pipe cleaners, but pipe cleaners used to be the staple of the Millpool puppets. Like Mayberry's antenna were made out of them. Ralph's antenna were made out of them. Ralph's tail was made out. Sam's tail was made out of them. Sammy's little tail hairs are made out of them. Yeah, every single one of them had at least one pipe cleaner in there. I probably don't need to use this curved needle for this. What size is my curved needle? Maybe an inch and a half. I don't know. You know where I got this? I got this at the supermarket. It was in their little sewing kit years ago, and I never used it. Now I use it all the time. So it's whatever size comes standard in this the supermarket sewing kit. I think I might just use a regular needle on the other one. Luckily, this hair is pretty forgiving. And I looked at the fur, what I have left over the fur, and I still have about 3/4 of a yard. So I didn't use it nearly as much fur as I thought I was going to use on this thing. I think I thought he was going to be a little bit bigger. Oh, the other thing I have to do there's two things I have to do after this. I have to put the tail on, and then I have to sew up his neck tube at the bottom. Because right now it's just a big open seam. Usually on the ones without any, without a separate neck tube, I just sew it directly to the body at the bottom, just to make my life more miserable when I have to make repairs. I thought about boiling this fur before I started, but I knew I wanted it to be basically straight when it was done, so I didn't know if that was going to really make it any better. And also, I didn't know that I had a pot that I could do all of it at once. Hey, home stretch. Let me go get my cat brush. I want to leave it a little shaggy at the bottom, so I'm not going to do that part. All right. Here's that arm. Cool. All right, let me make the other one. You can see how much it changes the texture just by brushing it once. So that's the one I brushed. That's the one I didn't brush. The longer the needle, the more area can get out of your grip and twist out of your control. The one I've been using with good luck is about 1.25 inches from the end knot around. That's about what mine is, I think. I think one of the reasons I struggled so much using one is the size of the needle and where it was holding it. I'm getting better at it. Yeah, it's interesting. Are there other more obscure characters you're going to build, or is Sammy the last? Well, let me. I was thinking about that, and I probably won't do it anytime soon. But one of the characters in the original strip that I enjoyed quite a bit was there were the Greys. They were the classic communion aliens, but it was spelled Graise, Greys, all caps, and it was an acronym for, I think it was Genetic Reconnaissance, Artificial Intelligence, Alien Intelligence, Science Expedition, something like that. And anyway, they were always kind of funny. They were kind of these dopey aliens that would give them grief. And I thought about building one of them because that might be fun. And one thing about the Melonpool characters that was always difficult, and I think probably why I enjoyed doing Eddie so much, is that I would take him around places and people were like, "What's that?" And it's like, "Oh, he's an alien. He's addicted to television. His name's Mayberry Melonpool, blah blah blah." And it was like the first 20 seconds I had to talk to somebody, I had to explain who the character was. Or if I walked up with Eddie, I could just say, "Oh, I'm a dog," or "Hey, look at the dog," something like that, and it was super easy. But I think that would happen with the alien too. If I walked around with that alien, people were like, "Oh, look, it's an alien," and then I could go right into it. So that one maybe. I'll draw you what it looked like real quick. Anything to keep from having to use this curved needle. Okay. Get it out of the way. Grab the glasses. So the Greys. Basically look like that. And that would be a fun one to build. And they're all named after, like, there was Bud and Whitney, or Whitley, and Zachariah. They're all named after those guys, that the conspiracy guys who were totally into aliens. So they were a lot of fun. But I have no plans to do any of that anytime soon. Although I did buy the fabric for it years ago. So I doubt I would even have to go. In fact, the eyes that I bought for the Greys are the eyes I used on Sammy. I've gone through, I had 12 of them, and I've gone through over the years. I found one other after I started this build, but I've gone through 11 of them now. Yeah, a lot of the puppeteers that I know just swear by these curved needles. A lot of them don't ever. I don't ever see them use any other type of needle. This hair. This might be, unless I make legs. This is the only. This is the last of the fur I'm gonna have to use. Maybe one other piece. I keep thinking I might put one more tuft of hair on his head. When I draw it, he usually has two or three, and he has three right now. But it seems like there's a big space that's missing. So I'll just put one more. I ended up painting them from the front. I thought about it doing it from the back, but because I put those bolts in, I couldn't figure out a way to do it and still paint them from the back. So they're painted from the front, but they're probably the easiest of the bunch to remove if they get chipped. The chipped eyes just add to his charm. I'll tell everybody. If I'd had gloss black, I probably would have done them gloss black, but I don't know. I like the way the white felt worked on him though. For the longest time, he didn't have um, in the comic he didn't have the white pupils, or they're not really the pupils. They're supposed to be the shine of his eye, but I was having problems where showing where he was looking, and so somebody said, "Well, why not use that highlight to show the direction he's looking?" And so I ended up drawing him on, and when I started making puppets, I started putting it on as well. In fact, at one point, those white pieces of felt that I was using were there to cover the end of the bolt that's bolted his eyes to his head. So he had a big, like, three-dimensional pupil. I had a bang up job there. I've been talking to Chris, the guy that puppeteered him in the movie way back in '94, and he's anxious to try this out. So that's exciting. I'll take video of it. Maybe I'll track down all the other puppeteers and get video of them testing out these new puppets. I mean, I already got Eric doing Ralph. Maybe we could do some lines from the original movie and then intercut it with footage of the same thing. One of the interesting things that happened with the comic was because the Millpool cast would get together every year at Comic-Con and just do the puppets. I ended up incorporating a lot of the things that they came up with improv wise into the comic strip. Like there was a line that Chris used to always say it's warm and toasty up here, and he was referring to how hot and heavy the original puppet was, and that ended up becoming something that Sammy said on occasion in the comic strip. Don't tell anybody how bad this seam is. I've been sewing all day on commission, so I did all my good sewing earlier today. Well, the good news is it matched up, so I didn't get too far off. This fur is pretty forgiving, so I didn't realize it till I started, but it does have a little bit of stretch to it, which is easier than some of the other furs I've used. Okay. Done and done. All right. You can see how much fur comes off when I do that. Okay, let me charge up the glue gun real quick. Get those back in. I guess I'll wait. Oh, Diet Dr. Pepper. Where'd that come from? A couple days ago, in one of the feeds, I tipped over my can of soda. I guess I got some on there and never saw it. Okay. 1 inch and a quarter, huh? Now, are you measuring it like that, or are you measuring it along this line here? Or number one, or number 2? Which one? How do you measure it? Okay, so I'm trying to make a washer thing that will fit that. It's probably about right. Can I show you? I'm gonna go up a size because I always end up forgetting to accommodate for the pen line. Oh, not that you saw any of that. There you go. I do some. Number 1, okay, so it is, what do I do with my needle? A lot has happened since the last time I had that needle. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Okay, so it is 1.5 inches. Okay. So I'm going to feed these on to the shoelaces. I tied a knot a little bit inside the arm before I put them in there. Stuff all that stuffing underneath it, behind it. Okay, and it's in there about half an inch, quarter of an inch, about a quarter of an inch. I almost got through it without burning myself. Almost. Okay, that's one arm done. And I always try to orient them about the same. Like I'm trying to keep them vertical, it looks like. Just so that when I'm putting on the two arms, it's easier to line them up. They could both be horizontal. It could all be diagonal. It doesn't really matter. Just you want to make sure that they're the same on each arm, or at least I try to. So that way it's easier for poking the holes on the other side to get them to line up correctly. A lot of glue. All right, there's the other arm. Okay, I'll put the arm rods back on. See how easy this is. There we go. That one's locked in. Okay, there's that one. Okay. Great. All right. Probably want to test them first to make sure I know where I want to put them. I thought that they should go right about here. There's a seam here someplace. There we go. I'm just pinning them right now because I. Okay. I may have to shave down these arms a little bit. I think they're too far forward. I'm going to pull them back a little bit. Height looks good, though. Yeah, I'm going to pull them on the other side of that seam and put them on. Okay. Wait, I need to get my little ties. Okay, so the seam is right there. I know you guys can't see a darn thing. You've seen this before. So these are super long shoelaces. I usually use 36. I think these are 42s. I got a new pair of Vans, and these are the extra shoelaces. But originally, I thought Sammy's arms were going to be a lot longer, so that's why they're a little longer. I lost that other shoelace. Where is it? There we go. I want to try and feed it through that mesh too. Well, maybe not. We'll try it without the mesh first. I'm afraid it'll restrict his movement too much if it's attached to the neck. Yeah, I may regret having this long a shoelace because they'll probably hang out, but I'm going to sew up the bottom of the body anyway, so it doesn't really matter. All right. I think I'm going to have to sew it up here too. Well, maybe not. Oops. All right, so there's one arm. All right, put the other one on. Whatever. Okay, there it goes. I know you guys can't see anything. I'm sorry. I'm tempted to just chance it and put his tail on right now. All right. Yeah, I think I need to run it through the lining. Just a second. Let me try and do that. I'll do that later. Well, they're both basically the same height, which is good. All right. All right. So let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to sew them right here. I'm going to sew them at the shoulder just to give a little bit of a better transition. But I'll decide that later, I guess. So can I do my... Yeah, I think it's going to work. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to make that tail. It's pretty easy. And here's his old tail. I always get stuck. And originally I put it on there way too high. It was up here. You can see where it was originally. That's about the right size though. But I don't think I have a pattern for it. So I'll make one. Probably my hardest pattern. Yeah, I think so too. I think another hair tuft. Yeah, I have the pattern right here. I'll do that later. Got fur in my mouth. Wonder where that came from. It's almost exactly the same size, so that's good. Oh. I guess I used Roberta's fur or skin. That's okay though. I made another hair tap for him. I don't know what happened to it. Because originally I was going to put 4 on there, but. Well, if this is a mistake, then I can at least get some. I'll get some whatchamacallit, pipe cleaners later. Maybe I should do that without the fan going. Okay, Steve, I'm headed out for a walk with my son. Thanks for the live stream. You're welcome. I'll probably go for another 20 minutes and then be off myself. So see you next time. He'll be done tomorrow, so he'll be done tonight, I'm sure. I gotta turn off that fan. These feathers are driving me crazy. Oh my gosh! Every single one of these that I've done, I've caught the end of that fabric in. So I make sure I get through the backing of this feather. Good, I got it. Okay, great. I put Eddie's tail on too high too originally. Hope I'm not making that same mistake again. Sorry, you guys can't see anything. I'm almost done with it. All right. So he's basically done. There's a couple of things I want to do. I want to put another tuft of hair up here. I think that was a good call. And then I want to also sew up this bottom seam. But other than that, I think he's done. Let's see if I can get him on here. All right. I may move these arms down a little bit too. I haven't decided yet. He's looking a little bit like a linebacker, but he's a big boy. All right, guys. All right. Thank you for watching. I do want to pull them up to the other one. Oh, what a mess. All right. So size-wise, they're not that much different. Everything else is different, though. Obviously, they're like phenomena. No, let's see. Phenomena. Phenomena. Anyway, thanks for watching this. I probably will just go through the run through with him. Maybe show off all the Melonful characters now that I got them all. And I'll be on tomorrow. So see you then. Night.